Everybody wants to get lower MOQs on Alibaba. And in this video, I want to show you 3 tried and tested ways to get yourself lower MOQs. Let's go. So part and parcel of that is figuring out how many units you're going to order. And a big component of that is figuring out the factory, their minimum order quantity, or MOQ for short. Okay, so I want to talk about how you can get lower minimum order quantities for your initial order with a supplier when you're testing out a marketplace. Most factories, straight up factories, you will know their factories because their minimum order quantity will actually be quite high. 500, 1,000, 5,000, for instance. That's one of the easiest ways of figuring out if you're dealing with a factory or a wholesaler or a trading company, because a wholesale and trading company, their minimum order quantities are much, much lower, much more lower. So to find out what their minimum order quantity is, all you need to do is when you send them the initial email or whatever it is you're doing to get in touch with them firstly through Alibaba or whatever, you just ask them if they can send you a full catalog. So what you're trying to do here, let me give you a little bit of background. You're trying to position yourself as somebody who's a proper professional, a player who knows what they're doing and is somebody to be treated with respect and to be given what they wanted. Okay, that's your positioning that you're going for. So you ask for a full catalog. You want to see everything they do so you can make some decisions about the factory itself, what are the things they sell. Maybe you're interested in them, maybe you're not. Certainly the factory feels that way because you've asked for a full catalog. You ask them what their lead times are. Lead time is how long it takes them from when you put your order in to when you get your stuff, when it's actually ready for you to get picked up. Okay, that's called lead time. And then you also within that say, oh, and can you tell me the minimum order quantities that you work to as well? Okay, so you do it as part and parcel of asking for other things. That's how you find out the MOQ. So how can you negotiate a better MOQ? First thing you can try is you can try to close the deal immediately. So there's 2 ways of doing that. The first way is you say, typically what you'll get offered is you'll get offered a 30% down with 70% due upon completion. That's what most factories, their default is. Okay, so your new default to try and get a better MOQ is I will pay 50 or 60% today. Once we get this agreed, I will pay immediately, but through Alibaba or whatever you're using, I'll pay immediately and I'm going to pay 50% down. Okay, you offer to pay more and do it right now. So you incentivize them to take action. That's a great way of getting a lower minimum order quantity because the factory realizes, let's just get it done. This guy's or girl's serious, whatever it may be. Great way of doing it. Okay. Next way, I offer to pay a higher price. So let's suppose that the factory has offered me 1,000 units as a minimum order quantity, and each unit is $2 a pop. Okay, so now I've got $2,000 as my first order, but I don't want 1,000 units. Actually, what I want is 500 units. And so I'll go back to them and say, hey, look, this is a market test. 1,000 units, that's outside of what I'm been authorized to start with. However, if you can do us 500 units, instead of paying $2 a unit for them, I'll pay $2.20 a unit, for instance. Okay, so 5% increase, 10% increase, sorry. So I'll pay $2.20 a unit so that I get my 500 units. Okay, this is a great way of getting a lower MOQ And remember, what you're trying to do is you're trying to reduce your upfront risk. So if you have to pay a little bit more on your first order per unit, but your overall investment is much, much lower, then you have reduced your risk. Okay? That's a really, really good way of doing it. Next way that I often use is I offer to pay in installments. So if they've come back to me with, well, it's 1,000 units, that's our MOQ, that's all we're going to get. I'll say, I'll try the other two first. And if there's still no go, I'll say, okay, no problem. What I can do, or could I pay we'll get all of it done, but I want to actually pay it on installments. So I want to get 500 sent to me right now. And then in 3 months' time, I want the other 500 sent to me. I'll pay 30% down now for the 500, and I'll pay 30% down for the next 500 at the point. So you're just basically splitting up, asking for payment terms, okay? That's really what you're doing, and that works well as well. Now, remember, this is all predicated upon you playing professionally with them. If you're a pain in the ass for them, then they don't want to do shit for you, okay? So golden rules are: be polite, be professional, no getting crazy with them. Remember that, especially a country like China works on Guangxi. You don't want to make them lose face. You want to just play the game along, okay? You've got to kind of be selling yourself. We're literally just going through this right now with a supplier in Australia where we've got to sell ourselves. So be polite and professional. The more you understand their situation, the better. So if you're asking for 500 MOQ, the factory is saying to you, hey, we can't do that, we can only do 1,000. Well, you want to find out why can you only do 1,000? Well, oftentimes it's because the product that they are putting together, an element of the product, they've got their own minimum order quantity from another factory, what they're using for that. So glasses, well, the frames themselves may be subject to their own minimum order quantity, okay? The factory where I'm buying the glasses from probably doesn't manufacture the lenses, probably doesn't manufacture the frames, probably won't definitely manufacture the screws that go into it. So that factory is more of an assembler than a factory in the normal way that you would think about it, okay? So they've got their own minimum order quantities. The more you understand that, the better you can negotiate, It never, ever hurts to ask, as long as you do it politely. And my belief around this is no. Any no is just a no, I can't do it that specific way, but try something else, Neil, and let's see if we can figure something else out, okay? So no just means no to that specific way. No, we won't do it that way. Well, what about this way? Or why not? What's going on here? So the more you kind of try and work it out, the better, okay? That was a video from my regular Monday night Q&A session with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. We are a community of over 2,500 professional e-commerce sellers from right around the world, selling on everything from Amazon to Shopify, eBay to Etsy, and much, much more. If you'd like to find out what we're doing and how we go about helping you make your business successful, get yourself off to www.aussieonlineentrepreneurs.com.au. The link for that is in the description. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.